The Mixed Mornings and More podcast with Steph and Sean.
Now available daily.
Good morning, world.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday. It's April 25th, 5:29 right now.
Hello, hello. And it is nice that the flag is only slightly blowing this morning.
That's right.
We have had days on days of wind.
Yeah.
And if you needed like further evidence apart from like the sand in your eyes and stuff like that, you could look at my yard. It is full of so much debris from other people's litter. It's crazy.
Yeah, the melt of the snow revealing what was left behind for garbage, it's not great.
Yeah, it's having a rough go. Yesterday I found a Halloween rug in my yard.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. I was like...
That's from a while ago.
Well, Halloween was, I don't know, 8 months ago, but as well, why is that here?
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm finding like sometimes on like my walk to and from work, as the snow slowly starts to disappear, like, oh, there's a sock. Oh, there's something else right there. It's like, ugh. All right, a lot of things are being revealed right now, and then they're getting blown around, like you said.
Yeah, isn't it so weird the things that, people are losing? There's a backpack on the side of my road that I'm just like... are you coming back for it? Or how did that fall off your back and you not notice? Like, what's going on?
Yeah. American Idol's slowly dwindling down to the final pretty soon here. They just named their top 24 not too long ago. But the way that they tell people they're moving on is irking people the wrong way.
Oh.
Because they always try to do it in different ways, right?
Yeah, don't they say like, I got news for you, you're going to Hollywood or something like that?
Yeah, and top 24, Hollywood, top 10, and of course there's the excitement part of it, and then they try to trick them a little bit, and they're just like, hey, unfortunately you're not moving on to the top 10, you're moving on to the top 24. I don't know, like just some silly ways that they come up with it. Well, Katy Perry's being just accused of like playing with people's minds too much. I'll give you a listen here. I got 3 separate incidences that the internet has pointed out.
And we did not put you in the top 24. You put yourself in that top 24. We didn't put you in there. You did. But as confusing as it seems, you're going to the top 24.
So that one right there was, we're not putting you in the top 24. You did. And then the person just stood there like, what? Wait, am I moving on? Does that mean I'm moving on? And then they had to like explain it. Like, I know it's confusing, but you're moving on.
Yeah. Do you think that somebody writes her lines for her and she
They have to.
Like, because this just seems so silly that she would constantly be like, I'm saying something weird, instead of just being like, that didn't work. Next time I'm just going to tell them they're in the top 24.
I would think so. If this is her trying to come up with unique ways, she needs to stop. Here's another one.
The challenging thing about love is when you love something, you have to let it go. We have to let you go into the top 24.
What?
Oh, no. These are so bad. They need to hire new writers if there's somebody else doing this in the background.
Finally, one more.
We don't think you are destined for the top 24. We actually think it's more like top 10.
And then the guy's so confused right here.
But you're still going to go to the top 24 first.
Yeah, he's just standing there. He's looking at them like, okay, wait. Do I have to go to the top 24 then if you want me in the top 10?
Yeah.
How does that work?
What on earth?
Anyway.
That is terrible.
I
don't like that at all. No wonder why American Idol's ratings are so bad.
Yeah, I think maybe the show is nearing the closing time if they're just so desperate to do stuff like this.
Yeah. I got a request yesterday from my Airbnb platform to update my profile.
Like how?
Exactly.
Bare minimum? Did you just have like your name and email or like?
No, I had a little bio on there. I'm like, I'm really nice. I love to travel. You want to host me at your place? And Airbnb said, maybe you'd like to give people some more information about you so you can see if you have like interests with the people you might be renting from.
Oh, geez.
These are some of the suggestions.
Is it more like a dating profile?
Well, almost more like one of those email chains from when you were in high school and you're like, I will send this to the person I like, all of my things.
Oh, right.
So it says I could tell people the decade I was born in. Where I went to school. My favorite song in high school.
Aren't these like secret questions to get you hacked?
Felt like my obsession.
What?
My obsession. I can tell people. My fun fact. My most useless skill.
Airbnb's taking it too far.
I agree. This one is the furthest. My biography title would be, what?
What are they doing? This is like an in-depth, like, let me find your match and also a place to rent at the same time.
Yeah, but like, I'm not looking for a friend on the platform.
Maybe you'll fall in love with your superhost. Like, this is ridiculous. As if their cleaning fees weren't ridiculous. This on top of it?
Yeah, this is next level. And I absolutely was just like, sorry, Airbnb, but I am not updating this profile at all. What you see is what you get.
Happily married. Been having some sandwiches a lot recently in my life.
You go to lunch? Yeah, of course you do.
Yeah, and then I went to one of the sub places the other day, and they just prompted me if I wanted my bread or sandwich toasted, and I realized I don't like it. I like the soft, floofy bread on both sides of my sandwich, and it got me thinking: am I alone in this? Because for them to prompt you to ask if you want it toasted must mean that it happens a lot. And so they'd rather just get the question out of the way instead of it coming up later.
Totally, because now it's like a luxury thing. Like, this is part of my job. I must toast your sandwich. It's not like extra hot latte. You don't ask how hot do you want your latte anymore. It's just like, if you ask, I can make it extra hot.
Exactly. So how do you like your sandwiches? How does you go about them?
If they ask if I want it toasted, I assume that they are experts and expect me to say yes.
Yeah?
Like, yeah, they're like, would you like it toasted? It's like, you know what? Sure, I'll go with the norm. I'll go with the recommended.
I see, and I get that. I get that as well. But for me, I'm just like, sometimes the toasted just like disrupts my gums and the top of the roof of my mouth, and the crusty bread just like attacks my inside. So I'm like, is it worth it? And a lot of the times when you go out to a sub place, I find that like their bread is just so floofy, and it feels so good that. I just like it. I like it more.
I think what I like is hot food. Like, I really, really want my food to be hot.
Yeah.
So if they are suggesting that you toast the sandwich, I'm like, yeah, as long as you put all the stuff on it first. Like,
yeah.
I want a hot pizza sub. And I would love for you to toast the pepperoni so that it gets that nice crispy edge on it.
Yeah. See, and that is the downfall of not getting it toasted, is that the ingredients on the inside of your sandwich, like the cheese doesn't get melted and any of that. So I'm missing out on that, which kind of sucks because I do love a good melted cheese. But I think the soft bread outweighs it. What about at home? If you're making a sandwich at home and you have bread, are you also toasting that on both sides, or?
Honestly, it depends how old the bread is and what brand it is.
Oh, that's so true.
Like, if it's a crusty loaf of bread that I got from a bakery, I am not toasting it the first day, but every day thereafter. But if it's like d'Italiano, it's never seeing the light of day not being toasted.
That's so true. Yeah, the age of the bread definitely plays into the whole thing as well. Because I often have, I say when I have my fried egg sandwiches that I make all the time, my bachelor meal. Since it's open faced, I want that solid toast on the bottom to hold everything so it doesn't flop.
Oh, it's extra toasted.
Yeah. Whereas if I'm making a sandwich and I have two hands on it and I'm holding both sides, then I'll just leave it for the soft bread.
And question if you are making an egg sandwich, but it's a sandwich now, both sides, are you having raw bread with an egg?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh, wow, you put my mind in a blender there. I think I'm toasting both sides.
Put your mind in the toaster.
There's so many avenues here.
Hey, Sean, you know anyone named Kyle?
Yes.
How many?
7.
7.
I don't know.
Well, I looked up how many Facebook friends I had named Kyle yesterday, and it was 6.
Yeah.
And I messaged 2 of them. There were 4 that were kind of like, you were a random acquaintance. It'd be weird if I said hello. But there is a Kyle Guinness World Record that's trying to be broken, and I just felt like all the Kyles in the world needed to be alerted so that they could help out.
Yeah. Okay.
So Kyle, Texas, is trying to get as many Kyles as possible to Kyle, Texas on May 21st.
Yes.
So that they can have a Kyle party and say that they have the most Kyles there at once. And basically they've tried 4 times previously to break the world record of a namesake and a place name. But Ivan over in Europe is winning.
No
with
way.
the most Ivans in Ivan. So they've had more than 2,500 participants before, but they need more. So we got to let all the Kyles know that it's their time to shine.
That's right. Bring some government-issued ID. I'm assuming they have to check
Yes.
to make sure you are officially named Kyle, not faking it.
And officially named Kyle, spelled Kyle.
Oh.
Can't be Kyle like K-I. Yeah, I don't know how you spell Kyle other than Kyle. But if you spell it differently, you don't count. You have to spell it right.
Okay, interesting. Well, I hope they break it. That's very interesting.
Yeah, if your name is Kyle and you're like, I am heading to Kyle, Texas for this now, let us know. Give us a call. 780-791-1037.
I always love some me time, Steph. I like being alone from time to time, just being with myself, hanging out,
You're
and just
an expert at that.
yeah, recharging, relaxing. I find comfort in it.
Yes, and it is very obvious. You are so happy to just be by yourself. The amount of times I've invited you out and I am really fun that you have said no to because you'd like to just stay home and be with yourself is impressive.
Maybe for a couple days at a time, but not 500 days in a row. Like this other woman over in Spain, for science, she decided to go underground in a cave for 500 days. And then she's going to be studied afterwards to see how isolation affected her.
I'm sorry. She did this for herself to be studied?
Yeah, for science.
No. 500 days.
Yeah, absolutely nuts. She said, or basically now like psychologists, researchers, she was in a cave, so cave specialists, physical trainers, they're going to examine her body, study the effects of isolation, potential disorientation just from being alone and secluded for so long. And she did this voluntarily. She likes it.
Yeah, that's quite a commitment to science to say, I'm going to go be by myself and not go insane.
Yeah. When finally day 500 came, she was 230 feet below ground in a cave. They asked her like, oh, how was it? And she's like, oh, I was asleep when you got me. You're taking me out already? I haven't even finished my book yet. Just so ridiculous.
I mean, there are some good books out there, but if I had been in a cave for 500 days, voluntarily,
Yeah.
no less, I'd be like, get me out of here. Or would you remember that people exist?
I don't know. These are some of the things that passed by during that 500 days. And so she was unaware that there was a war that was happening with Russia, Ukraine. No clue about that. COVID-19 restrictions just coming to an end over in Spain where she was, the death of the Queen. Not a clue about that. She said she kept busy. She was painting. She was knitting a bunch of things.
By flashlight, obviously.
There's a little photo that was taken here. It looks like she had some nice LED lights that is set up for her little
terrible.
camp that she had around there. And then she also brought 60 books with her, roughly 60 books.
Wow. She probably had to make friends with the cockroaches down there.
Yeah. She's by day 65. She was like, stop counting. We'll just let the days go by and we'll see when they come.
Wow. What a thing.
So I like being by myself, but not that much.
Netflix For You page, they suggest different movies for you. And the 2015 movie The Intern came up in my suggested movies with Anne Hathaway and Robert De Niro. And I
I've
was
seen
like,
that one.
Yeah. And I saw it in theaters, but watched it again the other day. My goodness, what a gem of a movie.
Still holds up?
It's so good. It was just so heartwarming. Like you just feel all the feels watching it. And it got me thinking though about interns and if you've ever done an internship.
I've never done myself. Before I got into radio, there's a lot of internships in radio, practicums, this, that, the other, going on the job. Before radio, I just did a bunch of laboring jobs, and there's no way you're doing an intern doing labor jobs. But I specifically, when I went back to college, when I was around 25, 26 or so to go into radio, I specifically went to a college over in Saskatoon that pretty much advertised that they're not going to put you in an internship and they're going to get you a job that pays you rather than go to one of the 2-year programs, NATE, SATE, BCIT, where you have to go to school for 2 years and you have to do a practicum, an internship, and then you can move on to your job. So I specifically went the route of not going that way.
Wow. Okay. So I did have to do an internship with my radio school, but it was 100 hours and I got hired before I got to complete it. So then I just had my boss here in Fort McMurray sign my internship papers.
Oh, there you go.
It's really nice.
I think that's what can happen when like you are a good like intern, is that you impress and they'll just bring you on.
Yeah, he was just like, wait a second, I could have not been paying you for your first 100 hours. And I was like, quiet down. This is not true. We're fine. Nothing to see here. Just sign on the dotted line, okay? A treat on a Tuesday morning. We have Misty from the SPCA with us today.
Good morning. I know I don't have any puppies with me. That's tomorrow, so tune in tomorrow. We have a special treat, but today we're here to talk about our Pedals for Paws fundraiser. It's a beautiful day out looking, so you know what goes well with good days? Bikes. So if you haven't been to a Pedals for Paws fundraiser, it's our annual bike sale, so we'll have some, they're not new. They're well loved. They could use some extra love. But there's some good bikes there, some good picks. I know people show up right at 10 when we open. We've had people come up and be like, when's your bike sale? We really want to get some good bikes. So that's happening May 13th. We're also still looking for bikes. So if you're spring cleaning out the garage, attic, outside, we are in need of bikes for our sale. So anyone who wants to donate a bike, that would be awesome. All the money raised goes to our animals and the care, veterinary care, food, everything. So come out on May 13th.
When the bikes go on sale, how do you determine what they cost? You slap a price, or is it pay what you can type?
See, I'm a little bit more easy on the sale price because I try to work with you. I don't like to put a set price on them. Like if one's brakes are kind of a little bit wonky, I'm not going to slap like a $200 like price tag. I'll always be fair on the value of them. So that's the best part. I want everyone to go away happy. I want the bikes to get their homes as well. It's like adopt me event for bikes, but then you also get to see our animals too. So they're fair price. I'm not going to make someone spend like $500 on a bike that doesn't have a front tire on it. No, but they'll all have tires, I hope. We have volunteers coming up. And repairing them. So we actually had one, Colin, who came up last weekend, and he spent the afternoon fixing them up, shining them up, putting some air in the tires. So, it will be a fun day. And if you're curious, you can even see in our compound there we have some bikes. But May 13th, mark your calendars if you're looking for a bike right before Mother's Day. We'll have a sale up at the shelter.
Perfect. Missy, thanks for joining us. One question, you said Colin came up and helped fix up some bikes. Are you looking for people to help with that too?
Right now, I think he put a lot of them in good shape, but we're always looking. So if you are handy and you say this one needs a little bit of a tune-up, always contact us if you're a bike expert and you're just like, okay, I can tune this up a little bit. We'll never say no.
Perfect. The bike sale, Pedals for Paws?
Pedals for Paws.
May 13th. You can check out our website or theirs for more info.
My hometown of Regina is pulling the plug on a tourism rebrand that they tried to take a joke and make it official.
Yeah, about a month ago, they came out with this Experience Regina and hashtag see my vagina or something like that. Oh, so bad.
Essentially, yeah, that's essentially what they did. So it's always been a running joke for the city. Grew up there. Artists that would come play, they would joke around with it and be like, Regina, all that stuff. City of the Rhymes with fun. And it's always been just an internet joke, and it's always just been something that's a gag.
Yeah.
It's never been anything official. There's been like mock songs about it that have made its way onto Jimmy Fallon and late night talk shows. And whenever someone from the city makes it somewhere, it's always a topic of discussion and just a joking matter. But then the official tourism brand last month, like you're saying, made it official. Experience Regina. Show us your vagina. CYQR, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then it immediately got like all the backlash, and everyone's probably just like, just let it live on the internet. Don't brand it for the entire city to be a part of.
Totally. It was the most expensive focus group they probably ever did, because if they had actually asked some people before they did all this, they would have known. But instead, they went through with the whole thing, and
yeah,
that costs money.
Yeah, and so now a month later, they're like, okay, we should probably get back to work because spring and summer is when people like come to visit. And so we're just going to be Tourism Regina again, and that'll just be a failed experiment that like hopefully we never talk about again. They're just trying to brush it under the rug now.
No, nothing to see here. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Want more of today's show?
Download the Mixed Mornings and More podcast.
Now available every weekday.